It's 13 minutes past 8. Let me introduce you to some new musical talent. Broods. I called them the Broods, but that was wrong. It's just Broods. And they were, I think, the Knotts at one point, and they were part of the Peasants, I think, also. But Georgia and Caleb Nott, who we talked to this morning, and there is a nice little connection with this program in the sense that Joel Little is involved. So good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
That was beautifully played. Very, very, very nicely played. So it's Broods.
Yes.
And you were the Knotts.
Well, that's our last name.
So you were never the Knotts. You are still the Knotts. In terms of mail and writing to you, yes. I write to the Knotts.
Yeah.
So who were the Peasants?
That was a high school band that we had. I think, I was about 16 when it started, and we entered Rockwest with that a couple of years in a row, and the second year we entered, we won it, and that's how we kind of met Joel and our manager and stuff like that. So that was our high school project before we left school.
And you dissolved your high school projects and became Broods.
I guess everybody went their separate ways. It was a 7-piece band.
Wow.
It was pretty huge. So everybody kind of went off to uni, and we were all different ages, so some people were still at school. And we moved up to Auckland, and then this kind of just happened, I guess.
How have you always performed together?
Mostly.
Yeah. I mean, we started performing together when we were about, 8 and 10 years old.
As what, though? Were you always on guitar and you were always on the vocals?
Yeah.
So describe your relationship then in that case, because I my sister and I could never have sung together, performed together, done anything.
I guess we're more like a couple of best friends or just really good friends.
Yeah, well, the way that we grew up was quite like our parents just decided that we would hang out together rather than with like friends and stuff.
We were allowed friends.
I was going to say, okay.
No, it was just always...
It wasn't like that.
It was just always like, can we have friends around? No, play with your brothers and sisters. Like.
And so you formed a band, and the rest, as they say. Do you write your own music as a kid?
Yeah. I've been writing really silly songs since I was like about 8 years old.
And they're getting better and better. Was there? I assume there's always talent there. There was always something there that people went, no, you can sing, you can write.
Yeah, I think
I think our writing only started
getting good like a few years ago.
When we were in high school.
Yeah. But we've always been like performers, and I guess for me, I've always been singing, but I didn't realise that people actually like to hear me sing until I started performing in front of like my family and friends, and they're like, "Oh, you're actually quite good, Georgia." I'm like, "Oh, sweet, we'll keep doing it then."
And so then you win the talent contest at the Richmond Mall.
Wow!
And there it is. And so how many people were you up against at the Richmond Mall that particular day?
Probably
I have
like
no
8.
idea.
Probably like 8 different acts.
And you won it. What was the prize?
It was actually like
$1,500 worth of mall vouchers.
Stop it. That's not bad.
We traded them with our mum for money because
she could just spend all the money at
she'd go
the
mall
supermarket.
shopping, and you needed the coin.
Yeah.
So at this stage of your life, so you went to university. Is this getting serious at this point? The music.
Yeah.
So you're aiming for professionalism at this point.
Well,
that would be ideal.
It's full time.
Yeah.
Now, and we get to travel the world and stuff like that, which is pretty awesome.
So what did you do with your studies?
Well,
Georgia left after 2 weeks, I think.
Yeah.
At what? Uni?
Yeah.
2 weeks?
Yeah. Good effort, eh?
What were you studying?
Music.
Oh, well, see, that's the thing, isn't it? The real world teaches you more than,
Yeah, I think for me, I just, I find it really hard to sit down in classrooms and concentrate, so I found that I learnt more from being in the studio with Joel and going out into the world and playing shows and stuff. So.
Exactly. And you were studying, Caleb?
Industrial design.
And that's like for furniture and things like that?
Yeah, and appliances.
Designing appliances?
Well, the look of appliances.
Wow, that'd be amazing. So you quit that, reluctantly, and may go back to it in later life, or you couldn't wait to ditch it and now music's the big dream?
I could have run with either or, but, who wouldn't want to play music for a living?
Yeah.
So you've signed with Polydor in Britain, you've signed with Capitol in America.
Yes.
What does that actually mean?
Well, they're two of the massive record labels. I mean, we got to go into the studio and stuff, and at Capitol and singing to like Frank Sinatra's mic and things like that, and record in the same studio as the Beach Boys and things like that, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah, the Capitol building's pretty. Like,
it's the famous round one.
It's quite surreal going there.
It's the famous round building. And Joel Little, where did he fit into all of this?
We met him about 3 years ago now, and just through Rockwest, actually, the high school competition that we entered, and he was a judge actually, so he saw us play through that, and then we got into contact with him and started writing when we were still in high school with him, and then it just went really well, so we're still doing it to this day.
What does he bring? Because he's obviously a big deal now, given the Lord connection.
Apparently.
So I've heard. What does he actually do? I mean, what's his cleverness? What's his magic?
He just has this way of taking your ideas and making them 100 times better. He's
got incredible vision for an end product that I don't know, it just really helps you push along, and he's got, I don't know, he's just so easy to work with, and
he's been a pretty influential like part of the creating of Broods, especially.
Huge mentor too.
Yeah, especially just because he's almost drawn out the potential that we didn't really know we had. Like
he saw what you couldn't.
Yeah,
so he's the visionary.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
like,
awesome.
We knew that this is what we wanted to do, and we knew that we were like relatively good at playing music. But he just had a way of making us challenge ourselves as songwriters, and teaching us how to make electronic music was a huge part, because we've never really done that before.
Brilliant.
We come from like a folk background. So
righto. Well, what are you going to sing us? What are you going to perform for us?
We're actually going to do, I guess, essentially a folk version of our latest single, Never Gonna Change.
I love it. Hit me with it.
We shall. Pushing down on my shoulders and emptying my lungs. And in a moment I'm older. In a moment you've won. And you escape me like it's nothing, like words I never should have said. And distress comes to the surface, but all of the heroes are dead. And I hate that I can't say your name without feeling like I'm part of the blame. And it's never gonna feel quite the same, 'cause it's never gonna change. And I hate that I'm always so young, had me feeling like you were the one. And it's never gonna feel like it's done, 'cause it's never gonna change. Never gonna change, 'cause it's never gonna change. Never gonna change. While I dance here softly, you're next to me again. Next to me again. And we're still tagging on each other and tearing at the frying loose ends. And I hate that I can't say your name without feeling like I'm part of the blame. And it's never gonna feel quite the same, 'cause it's never gonna change. And I hate that I'm always so young, had me feeling like you were the one. And it's never gonna feel like it's done, 'cause it's never gonna change. never gonna change. Never gonna change. Never gonna change. And I hate that I can't say your name. I'm feeling like I'm part of the blame. And it's never gonna feel quite the same. 'Cause it's never gonna change. Never gonna change. Never gonna change. Never gonna change. 'Cause it's never gonna change. Never gonna change. It's never gonna change. Never gonna change.
Georgia, Caleb, Nott, good to see you. All the very best with it.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having
Lovely.
us.